You know, when I started getting into comic books, I started seeing a lot of different crossovers and really cool little ideas and things just that I never thought I'd see fleshed out. And when I actually went online and see that Transformers and Terminator have an actual conflict, alright? They have a little crossover debate, alright? Little enemy of my enemy. I was like, wow, this has some serious potential to be really good. We have robot versus robot, Transformers, Autobots doing the right thing, and Skynet, who is literally trying to do an entire species holocaust of the human race. While they do need to protect the humans in the beginning, so they can make sure that Skynet, their baby, is actually born, who knew that the Decepticons would be trying to also stop this from happening? Who knew that the Decepticons also wanted the human race dead? I never knew that. I always thought that the Decepticons just kind of hated the Autobots, and they were just in this long conflict, eternal battle for the realm of Cybertopia, or whatever it's called. I totally forget. So I was pretty excited to get this. It's a pretty fast read. I believe it's like 120 pages or something. I don't see any markings, but it does include all the cast of the Decepticons, the Autobots, a new Terminator that we've never seen, a little bit more of origins for the Skynet. Actually, Sarah Connor, alright? No child, though. She's just kind of a waitress in this. Very, very interesting. It's just a crazy little mashup, alright? And I gotta say, I did enjoy it. I think there's definitely some more to be wanting here. I think they could have went really gritty with this. Like I said, I know I say this, I'm always saying I want more grittiest, more adult, more dark scenarios, but come on, man. These are the Terminators. They're literally trying to eliminate the human race just to keep themselves alive. They didn't really do that, alright? This kind of does come off like the cartoons, which I never was a big Transformers fan as a child, you know? I never got super big into it. I do remember vaguely watching like a Kmart version. I think it might have been on Cartoon Network or something, but they were a lot smaller, a lot more like bulkier beings. I'll try to find that and leave a little clip in there maybe. But ultimately, I will say Transformers Terminator, I think this was like $13 or something like that. I was a little disappointed that it wasn't a hardcover. I really try to stick to these hardcover books and things like that just because they're nice, and I read these in my car at work a lot, so I get kind of worried about the pages warping and bending and but it wasn't a big deal. And by the cover that I seen on Amazon, I was like, man, this looks really cool. Like I said, it comes off a little bit cartoony when it comes to the actual situations. I think the Terminator in this could have been a little different. The Transformers are exactly how you'd expect, you know. You got Starscream and Megatron just being like, God damn it, Starscream! Destroy them! I love the way they talk in the show. It's so weird, very intentionally maniacally evil. And then you've got the Autobots, like Optimus Prime, just being like, you need to stop, Megatron. We could have peace. We can live in Cybertopia. I know their home planet's similar, something like that. It's close, alright? It's close. Maybe. I could be wrong. Don't be mad at me. But when it came to this new Terminator, he is very confident, kind of jokey. You know, he just does some things that I wouldn't think a Terminator would really do. He kind of shouts off some one-liners. The way he talks is kind of ridiculous. There's actually a scene in this where he is like talking to another Terminator, and he's like, identify your objective or whatever, and he's like talking in binary. His name is actually like 10010011111, all these numbers and things, and he's like, slow down, Mr. Terminator Dad. I'm a newborn, okay? I don't know how to speak binary yet. I was implanted with just human speech, alright? Just give me a moment. I thought that was kind of weird. I mean, he's literally a computer. Why would he not know binary before knowing the English language, you know? How does that make sense exactly? Where all this starts, in the far, far future, when humans, I think, are basically all but eradicated, besides maybe a few of them. But it actually turns out that the Decepticons, the Transformers, they have actually taken over, alright? They've kind of beat down Skynet. Skynet actually has its forces surrender to them. And now it's not because they feel they have to, but they're trying to buy themselves some time. As we all know, Skynet has the ability of time travel, and they actually send this here little Terminator fella back in time. Go to the resting place of the Decepticons next to this mountain inside of their ark before they ever wake up, and in order to destroy them, to quote-unquote terminate them, as you might say. So, an interesting plot, right? I thought that was kind of cool. Oh my god, I just ripped out a fucking page. God damn it. Shit. Alright, maybe the binding in this book is a little whack. That actually makes me very sad. Very sad indeed. Okay, so after a little bit of exposition and things like that, we have this, we're just going to call him the Terminator, alright? They never give him a name in this, it's kind of annoying. He is teleported to Los Angeles, he's fully naked, just like all the Terminator movies, and he comes across this little bar, where Sarah Walker is actually a waitress. There's no child in this, okay? There is no John Connor yet. I guess that's a little disappointing, but it's cool to see Sarah Connor on her own. She accidentally spills some coffee on this gentleman here, alright? And he's mad. He's kind of a hickerbilly, and he's like, what the fuck, Sarah Connor? Why would you do this? And he just starts getting kind of handsy, kind of mouthy. Oh, God, I can't believe that page. Son of a bitch. He's about to actually slap her, alright? He's about to put on some domestic violence, you know? That's just fucked up. The Terminator himself comes out of nowhere. He's fully nude. He grabs his fist, and this guy's like, whoa, buddy, you're fully naked. How dare you grab me like that, and why aren't you letting me slap this woman? Now, this Terminator doesn't necessarily care what's happening to Sarah Connor. He doesn't really care about the human affairs. He just wants to do his objective. He wants to terminate these goddamn Decepticons, which he doesn't know the difference between Autobots and Decepticons yet. He just knows that in the future, we'll put the hammer down on Skynet. So he basically just goes, give me your clothes. And this guy's like, hell no. He pulls out a tiny little revolver, and he shoots him in the hand, alright? And this is where it's actually revealed that he is more than man, okay? He is a robot. He punches this man, and Sarah Connor is just like, thanks, but, oh no, she's not like, thanks. She actually runs away. She's like, screw this. And he goes, identify yourself. And he pulls the gun on her. She eventually identifies herself as Sarah Walker. And he basically commandeers her to take him to this mountain where he knows these robots are sleeping in their slumbering place. And through a couple events, she actually ends up taking them there. They suddenly arrive and everything's going okay. Sarah Connor over this slowly gets more and more used to him. Everybody kind of becomes buddy. And something I never noticed was it looks like they actually drove Optimus Prime himself to the place without nobody really knowing, so that's kind of interesting. They actually obliterate him. Eventually, once they get to the front of the building, they are spotted by a drone, and it immediately shoots them down, but not before they can get inside. Finally, the Terminator has found his objective, alright? He sees all these different Decepticons, the full cast, and he goes, I will see you in hell! This is where I'm kind of talking, like, I don't really see a Terminator saying anything like this, and while I've only seen, like, Terminator 3 when I was a kid, when that first came out, and the ones above that, vaguely Terminator 2, so I've basically only seen the shit Terminator movies, besides Terminator 3. I thought that was pretty dope when I was a child. I was adult enough to realize that the new ones are just very not great, alright? And this actually does have some really good artwork, very transformery. They actually have a lot of detail and things like that, and the whole thing doesn't come off like a child's cartoon, alright? There are some scenes, you know, humans die, they're pointing guns at people, but the Terminator's actually able to see the exact moments. There's these little scenes in here where you get to see his HUD display and things like that, where he actually sees their weaknesses, and he sees that Megatron is his eye, he sees that, like, Starscream is his neck joint, and another one, I think it's Soundwave, is his knee. He basically just kicks their asses right off the bat, alright? He shoots Megatron in the eye, and he's down for a moment. He actually eventually realizes that his guns are not very good, so what does he do? He grabs a cannon off of one of these dead robots, and he blasts apart one of the Decepticons. He straight up murks him, okay? Meanwhile, Sarah Connor's in the background. She's being attacked by one of these different Decepticon robots. I find it kind of whack that they all resemble things of the human race, because in this specifically, it shows the Decepticons coming to Earth and being like, what are these things? These little flesh bags, what are these? Yet they all turn into well-known vehicles and animals, alright? And you could argue that they can turn into other things, but I don't think I've actually ever seen that in Transformers, alright? They're always a fucking semi, or a canoe, or a tandem bicycle, alright? And they usually never change, so I'm just wondering, where did they get these ideas in the first place? And there is just a lot to be wondering, alright? I've never gotten very far into Transformers, the franchise itself, so I could be wrong. Just don't be mad at me, alright? Just don't. I don't know. I'm innocent. But Sarah Connor actually knocks this little animal robot thing into a lamp, which this lamp apparently can give the dead robots the ability to repair themselves, and suddenly Optimus Prime rises from the ashes and is beheld a new man. And Megatron's pretty pissed about this. They basically all get into this little fist fight. He actually punches Megatron right in his stupid face, or maybe it's Starscream. I'm not sure. There's too many names. You know, you see something like oil and things come out of their neck, their stupid robot blood. So I thought that was kind of cool. You get to see some robot violence here. Let me take these glasses off. I don't even know why these are on my head. But anyways, Optimus Prime is regained new life, and Sarah Connor kind of realized what she just did. She used this light, and she ends up reviving all the different Autobots besides a few. As the Decepticons finally flee, they realize they're outmatched. You get to see Optimus Prime's cool-ass, like, fire axe thing. You get to see Megatron doing some nice little monologues about how much he hates Optimus Prime. Now, let me allow you to introduce you to my Megatron voice. I think it's pretty good, but you be the judge of that.
This isn't over, Prime. This is only the beginning. Enjoy picking through the pieces of your warriors.
I'd really love to do some voice acting. I think that was pretty spot on. But anyways, they all flee. Eventually, the Terminator still wants to kill all these robots. Sarah Connor's like, stop! And at least explain to us why exactly you need to kill everybody, to terminate all these nice robots that just helped us. So he kind of goes through this whole little story about what I told you guys in the beginning. You know, he starts telling him about how the Decepticons came to the Earth and they actually started enslaving the human beings. The human beings fought back as hard as they could. Eventually, they were just kicked down to the dirt. They couldn't actually handle it. They were all made subservient, and then eventually Skynet also becomes subservient just in the fact of buying themselves just a wee bit more time. And then finally, somebody does something that they don't do very much in this book, is explain themselves. Optimus Prime kind of realizes that this guy has come from a world where maybe the Autobots haven't exactly lived in this little cycle of life that he's from, and he kind of explains to him, you know, we oppose these robots. We live for peace. We believe that every sentient being has a right to live, and we would like to help you on your quest, sir. And that's kind of a whole little plot point in this, is that all sentient life deserves to live, even if it is Skynet that's later on, as I said in the beginning, going to actually do genocide on the entire human populace. But you know, everybody deserves to live, alright? So eventually this said Terminator, he realizes, you know, he's like, alright, I think maybe we can become buddy-buddy. I think we could, you know, this fits my mission parameters, so there's no reason not to let you live for at least a little bit longer. So that's what he does, and they all decide to go on their way. Kick these Decepticons' ass, as everybody could probably predict. Now, one thing that I love is that this actually includes all the cover issues and things like that. You actually get this more Schwarzenegger-looking person right there, but it's not, all right? Just know that it is not. Or maybe it is. Maybe they're all... Schwarzenegger's character is part of Skynet too, so I guess if they're a hive mind, they're all the same person. Sarah Connor and the Terminator get to know each other a little more. He actually explains to her that his name is Model 101 Series 800, and she's like, wow, that really rolls off the tongue. And that kind of takes a gander at all the Autobots. And one thing I don't get is that for some reason he can't see the weaknesses on these robots, but he sees that they're maximum threats, no vulnerabilities. It says that maybe Bumblebee has a hearing vulnerability, but then it says it's crossed out, so I guess that's nonetheless. But they start forming the plan to start reviving the rest of the Autobots in hopes that they can destroy the Decepticons once and for all, and hopefully live in peace finally, and stop this endless bloodbath of robots and humans and meatbags and all these different things. So eventually they kind of split up into two teams. Sarah Connor and RK, I think that's how his name is. He's the pink warrior bot, okay? They kind of go off, just trying to do a little recon mission while the rest of them go and trying to find some energon, the fuel that powers all the Cybertopians. And they're off. They're off to the races while the Decepticons start. They're actually at the Skynet labs, which I found kind of interesting, and they actually start to realize that, you know, if they destroy the humans that created Skynet itself, this robot will no longer exist. He won't be able to destroy them. He'll never come back from the past. So that is their goal. The Terminator realizes that their plan is to eliminate him from time completely, and they head to the Skynet labs, and it is just a clash of robots, and it's just an endless fight sequence, and a pretty good one at that. The artwork for this is very cool. Their weapons and stuff is very well drawn. Optimus Prime's flame sword just looks so cool, alright? And then you got other ones with like kinetic whips. I think RK actually has like some kind of holographic mace. I thought that was dope as hell. But they're just bashing and bashing each other. That's kind of where the rest of this is going to go, until eventually some of the most ridiculous things in this book. I don't want to spoil everything, so we'll just kind of go to some more of the plot points. The things that make the Decepticons lose, and I don't know if this is a thing with everything, is they all just start betraying each other, alright? Starscream realizes that Megatron himself is kind of a dick, and he wants to take him out and lead the Decepticons, while at the same time Soundscape is realizing this same kind of thing. So while Sarah Connor's gone, she's trying to make radio contact to the rest of the Autobots and kind of let them know, head back to the Ark. We will repair you, and we will end this. But little do they know, the Decepticons actually have the Ark destroyed, and a lot of the Autobots actually die. It's a very sad moment in the series. I shed a tear for my fellows, Hombius and Dig Attack. I'm just trying to come up with some of my own little Transformer names. So from here out, the Autobots that are there, that's all they're getting. But thankfully, the Decepticons are horribly mismanaged, can't work together, in a constant power struggle in their own ring of people, which I guess makes sense because Megatron is definitely a huge dick, alright? He's punching them, he's telling them what to do, he's yelling at them, and it's just not working out. So you get this giant clash, and you get to see all these great fight scenes and things like that. And like I said in the beginning, the artwork within this is very cool, especially these little cover art pages. They're a little more well done than the actual art in the book, but I really enjoy just all the shading and all the coloring and stuff of the robots. They're very cool looking, they're very mech looking, and it just looks good. But eventually the Terminator actually gets his legs blown off, and how they finally destroy the Decepticons. They hurl him into Megatron's chest, alright? After he already blows a hole in it early on, he ends him, alright? He knows this is gonna kill him, he knows this is his final move, but you know what? This Terminator realizes that these people are good. And like Optimus Prime said, every sentient life deserves to live. And that's where I just thought, I was like, man, this is not a cold-hearted machine from Skynet, I just don't believe that he would actually do these things. I think Skynet's much bigger than that. I guess you did have Arnold Schwarzenegger saving Sarah Connor or whoever and the child, but I think that was all in the fact that, well, no, wasn't he trying to kill John Connor because he's going to lead the resistance in the future? But yes, he's chucked like a little flea into the chest of Megatron, and yes, that's the end of it, alright? Megatron's dead. They all kind of realize, we can finally all be in peace. The living Decepticons like Soundwave, there's a couple other ones, but I'm pretty sure Starscream may die too. And I just want to say while we're here, Starscream is such a dope-ass name. I think the Decepticons definitely have it when it comes to names. The Autobots got Bumblebee, for Christ's sake. I guess Optimus Prime is pretty hardcore as well. As Megatron is dying, he's doing another little monologue, and I'd like to go ahead and work my voice on this once again.
This was supposed to be your death, Prime.
Alright, and then he's dead. Okay. Alright. The Terminator waves goodbye. He says, goodbye, Sarah Connor. He's created a kinship with the humans now. Alright, the Terminator has realized that, these humans, these Autobots, they're good people. Alright, and that's what Skynet values the most, is good people. I thought it was cool that the Cybertonians are finally united, alright? The battle is over. They're all kind of standing around each other, just being like, hoorah! We're all friends now, and we love each other, and this is a great good old time. But little do they know what they've just done. First off, actually, Sarah Connor somehow works her way into Skywatch, the company that creates Skynet. I don't know how she does this, considering she was a waiter before any of this stuff happened, but she is now, like, the head of the company, and she wants to do right and make sure, that these sentient robots, Skynet, are able to live their lives, okay? Just what they actually do is actually kind of sinister and evil. Alright, so they save the future, and I believe the Terminator kind of lets them know about this different form of robots from another planet. And what do? They integrate them into the system. And right here you see that they actually have the regular Terminators, But then they have these giant skyscraper-shaped fucking Transformers on their side now. And what happens after that, I have no idea. I'm pretty sure that may be the actual end of the human race in this. So, all that for naught, I think Optimus Prime could have been just maybe a little more smart about this, alright? He just ensured the death of everybody. I don't know how the fuck they're gonna survive this either. I mean, these robots are massive. They look super evil, but they look super cool, alright? And the last little cover art is actually Optimus Prime, like, merged with Skynet, and I thought that was just very interesting. That's the end, you know? You got some extra little cover arts and things like that, some extra little sketch work, and then you finally get to see this fucking Megazord. What it is a Terminator Transformer, and this thing just looks like a goddamn death machine. It's called a T-8000. This thing is an apocalypse machine, surely to grind the human beings into ground beef and to never be seen again. And I guess that is just the end of the world, everybody. Now, what did I think about this exactly? Like I said, there's a lot to be left desired. I think the Terminator in this should have been a lot more cold, a lot more calculating. I think he should have just done his mission. There's so many points in this where he has the chance to just end it the fuck all, and he doesn't do it. I guess he does do the right thing and he helps the Autobots, but that's just not real to me when it comes to Skynet, alright? Skynet knows what it needs to do to ensure itself. I guess there's even a point in this where the Decepticons tell the thing, he's like, you know, help us kill these Autobots and we're perfectly fine with killing the human race for you to ensure that you are made. Well, we're gonna let the human beings live, of course, until they make you, and then we can enslave them all together. And he kind of acts like he's gonna do it, and then he doesn't do it, and it's just a cool little trick or whatever, just to deceive Megatron. So that was fairly interesting. But yes, more to be desired. This kind of comes off more as a gimmick than a serious, like, story arc. I think nonetheless, with the price point being like $13 or whatever, it's worth a read if you're into crossover things. When I seen this, I was like, no way. But you get some good artwork, you get a fun little tale, there's some funny things. I think the Terminator was a little bit too childlike, you know, he's like flinging himself like a fucking flea into all these different people, making one-liners, he making a bond with Sarah Connor and the Autobots and things like that, realizing that, like, life is too precious. It's just so weird, because even in the beginning you tell Sarah Connor, you know, I will let you die. It's not like you have any part to do with Skynet itself. Yes, everybody, this has been Terminator versus Transformers, enemy of my enemy. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you pick it up for yourself and add it to your own little collection. Or don't. Maybe just watch this video and be done with it. For the most part, it's good. I'm going to go ahead and give this thing... I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, alright? It wasn't anything spectacular. I think there's a lot of points in this where I did a lot of eye rolling. When I first started reading it, I was like, damn, man, I thought this was going to be some hardcore shit with, like, the Autobots and stuff, like, witnessing the human race being just murdered by the Skynet people, you know? That was not it. It's kind of a little bonding story by the end of it. It's a story about kinship and letting sentient life, no matter if it's human, metal, fish, anything, it deserves a chance to live. So I guess that part of it is a little bit touching. But overall, it's good. Alright, it's good. And that's about all I can say about it. I'm going to end this video right here. I'm in Michigan. It's incredibly hot. I'm in this tiny wooden room with no fans. All the windows are shut. Black curtains. Trying to keep some sound out. Yes, everybody. Thank you. It would help me a great deal. Maybe share it on Twitter or something, like I said, where none of your people, none of your family or anything can see the weird videos you're watching. Alright, I would be perfectly fine with that. But if not, just thank you so much for watching and making it towards the end. This has been Transformers Terminator, enemy of my enemy. And before I leave, I would enjoy to do one more Megatron voice.
You've done well to awaken my first Skywarp. Pity that the Autobots can't put up a fight. Bye, Optimus Prime. You die as you lived. Ignorant and useless.
Okay, I've only done that voice 3 times now, and it's starting to hurt. So, everybody, once again, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.